Let me ask you, for our viewers who aren't normal viewers of Black News Network, how is the unrest, how is the injustice being covered by you, and what kind of solutions are you trying to float through your media?
Well, unfortunately, it's given us a lot of content, as it has every network out there, and we're no different. I think it specifically impacts the demographic that we cover, and we talked about it in our news lineups and our daily shows. And so, unfortunately, we're at a time in our nation's history that this is happening again. That it kind of feels like the 60s and early 70s all over again. But nevertheless, it's given us a lot to talk about, and then there's different perspectives, obviously, and of course, most folks who tune in to us on the Black News channel, their perspective is that we need to listen to hear. We shouldn't listen to respond, and when we have our kids, being a parent, I know firsthand when my children are acting up, at some point in time, I just can't continue to put them in timeout or to punish them or discipline them some way. At some point, I've got to take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, why are they doing what they're doing? And I think good parents do that. And I think at this point in our nation's history, we need to listen to hear, not listen just to respond.
Interesting. Tom Friedman of the New York Times was on our air this morning, and his suggestion was for those who have legitimate intent to protest to stop for now, because in his view, the protests have been completely hijacked by those who have no interest in seeing racial injustice solved. Is that anywhere in your universe of possible solutions? And then how do you regroup?
No, I think Tom is right on. And we had a protest here in Oklahoma City last Sunday, and it was a peaceful protest. And, we had some people who were spraying the front doors of the state capitol. And then you had protesters that went in behind it who were taking hand sanitizing elements, trying to clean it up. You had a police officer that was kneeling in support of what the protesters, the peaceful protesters, were protesting about. I think Tom is right on. I don't think violence is ever justified. However, I think, again, we have to take a step back, say, what is going on, take a deep breath, and come up with solutions of listening. If we can encourage the governor of Michigan to listen to the people who went into the state capitol with guns, if we can encourage them, the governor, to listen to them, we should be able to listen to all sides. So I agree with Tom, and I think the violence is never justified, in my opinion, and for all the things that those of us who have fought to build the inner city, to encourage investment in the inner city through enterprise zones or opportunity zones or community revitalization zones, to go in after having 30, 40 years of investment of Targets and Dollar Generals and Walmarts and places like that, to have those people come in after getting them to and encouraging them to do that, to tear it down overnight, that's just not right. And so we can't condone that. But again, I think we have to look at all sides of it, every perspective, bring them to the table, and listen to hear. Don't just listen to respond.